What about the football side of this? So, Aaron, the timing of this, we have the draft coming up next month. You have the possibility of Deshaun not playing for the team. Tyrod Taylor gets signed. Is this all coincidence that it's all kind of converging right now? And what's this do for the so-called trade market for Deshaun Watson?
Right. There have been a lot of conspiracy theories on social media about the timing, including Tyrod Taylor being signed hours before. My understanding is that is coincidental because they always intended to address the quarterback position. The way it affects trade value is if there's an NFL investigation. They have really, when you look at the NFL, their response yesterday was, they have no comment on it, and so they're not at a stage where I think they're doing anything. And they may never do anything. They may just view it as a civil matter that they don't want to, address. It could be handled that way. It could be handled in a different way, depending on how they feel about it. What's the outcome? What if he settled? What would happen? Would they then look at it as something like, well, is that an admission? Do we need to look into this more? Should they monitor everything? In terms of the trade market, the teams are still interested. I know that for a fact. And that has not changed. Would it change the terms? No, if they were to get to a point where they're negotiating. The Texans are just in a listening mode and or telling people, no, we're not interested. They're still steadfast in not trading him, and he will not play for them again. He has made that unequivocally clear, Dan, that he has no intention to ever play another down, is the way he's put it to friends, for the Texans. He's really intentional in that, and he told David Culley that. That's all been communicated.
Do you think that he's traded? If he's traded, it's before the draft?
I think there's a very good chance that he could be held on to, Dan. Yeah, I wouldn't assume anything. This is a moving, fluid situation. It makes the most logical sense, and everyone knows that the value is the highest, and then you know what the picks are. If you do it later, if you do it in 2022, then it's not the same kind of terms. And it does set, as I've been told many times, a terrible precedent if a player can, essentially force himself out. And I would not rule out the Texans playing hardball.
Can you put it in simplistic terms here, Aaron? What is Deshaun Watson's problem with the franchise? Is it on the field or off the field?
It's off the field that his trust in them and his feelings about how business was conducted and the state of the franchise and his interactions, obviously, with the owner, Cal McNair, and him feeling that he was going to have input. It's not one thing, as I've been told many times. It's a culmination of all of those things affecting his, trust in the organization and how he feels about the organization. So it's not just one thing. So I would say the last is sort of finding out on social media. That's kind of like the straw that broke the camel's back, Dan, but it's not a situation where you say, man, that's it. No, it's just finding out about the DeAndre Hopkins trade on social media, basically not being consulted. Okay. That's, I would say, if you had one more thing, he just didn't feel like he was being treated like a partner of the organization. They feel like he's being treated just like a normal player in some cases. So that, bothered him, and it bothered him to the point that he requested the trade. And that's where they are. And that he's been steadfast in that, and he's not budging, not an iota.